This week's species comes in many colors and has a variety of names. Some people know it as the mahi, dorado, or dolphin, but I'm sure we can all agree that it's one of the best to eat. This is the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report.
Welcome to the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Hello, Floridians, and welcome back to the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report. We hope everyone had a fun and safe Memorial Day weekend, but the summer fun must go on, and we're already into June. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. It's birthday month for me.
It's birthday month. We're going to be celebrating for weeks on end, even though it's Sunday, right?
Right.
Right. We're getting a little older every year.
Mike Holiday tonight, too.
Oh, Mike Holiday's birthday's tonight, too. Okay, well, someone to help get through our summer is Dave Farrell at the CCA Workbench. Mr. Dave.
Yes, ma'am.
You going to help us with some new products to get through our summertime?
Yeah, and we're talking about Dolphin, which was the first fish I fished offshore that I was trying to catch, and I didn't even really know it because I didn't know what I was doing. But that's what I was trying to catch.
But you know what you're doing now.
You know what you're doing now.
Yes, he does.
All right, well, as you can see, guys, we have a full house audience tonight. A special guest from Fire Disc who's cooking up something yummy.
Yes.
And my little sis is in the house to add to the joy of it all. Super excited to have her here from Nashville. Welcome. And tonight, Rick, we are talking about my absolute favorite species, dolphin.
Absolutely, Bree, but I want to ask you, why is it your favorite? You always are asking me, why is it your favorite?
Well, number one, it's good to eat, which has to be number one on my list, and it's a fun fight, and they're beautiful.
And they jump.
I mean, they jump.
Oh.
Fun fight. It's all inclusive.
Okay, sorry.
All right, the East Region Dolphin Bite was on fire a few weeks ago, but good news, arriving this week is a new wave of fish, and they're coming up the coast, so give us the skinny, Captain Holiday.
That is a skinny, Bree.
Oh.
You know, this is the time of year when the dolphin action seems to come in waves. You get a dry spell, then a new group of fish push through the weekend, or push through the region. And, you know, the last week the dolphin action was non-existent, but we're seeing the fishing starting to pick up the last couple of days, so it's a good sign. The bite is scattered with a good number of small fish coming in 60 to 110 feet of water, and, you know, fair number of larger fish that are all coming out off the weeds out deeper, 200 feet of water or more. Right now, you want to cover a lot of water. Look for weeds and other floating objects. You can troll ballyhoo with either a pink or a blue and white islander lure, or troll feathers and strip baits. You know, then there's always the option of just doing that run and gun type of fishing. You know, run up to spots, throw bait, look for fish. You don't get bit there, move to the next spot. Watch for birds and current rips. Average dolphin is going to be 4 to 12 pounds. With fish to 30 pounds in the mix, and I got a photo there. That was sent to me by Captain Glenn Cameron on the Floridian charter boat, and they found that dolphin in 120 feet of water, and that fish ate a trolled ballyhoo. The other thing going on, you know, the mutton snapper bite's just been incredible. It's been so good that a lot of blue water anglers are spending half their trip trolling and half the trip bottom fishing, people that normally don't even bottom fish. The mutton snapper bite's been pretty strong throughout the entire region, but even more so in southern Martin County and all of Palm Beach County. While most of the anglers are targeting the mutton snapper during the daytime, the best fishing is taking place at night. So this is really kind of a good time to, you know, grab a bucket of chicken and some adult beverages and head out to the Loran Tower Ledge, the 6 Mile Reef, or the reef off the Juneau Pier right there at dusk. Current's been smoking all week, so you want to bring along some extra weight to get your baits down. Be sure to use, you know, a 40 to 60 foot stretch of 60-pound fluorocarbon leader, because the muttons tend to be leader shy, and a 6/0 circle hook. For bait, sardines, cigar minnows, grunt plugs, those are going to be your top baits. Bonita strips and squid will also catch your share of fish, as will live crabs. Average mutton snapper is going to be 4 to 10 pounds, but there's fish up to 18 pounds in the mix.
All right, what do you got for me inshore, Hollywood?
Well, you know, as you know, Rick, June's the best month of the year to target tarpon migrating out of the Keys and up the beaches. The fish push their way north, you know, pretty much on a daily basis, and a portion of them will stop in the inlets or move inside to become our summer resident fish. The rest will keep pushing their way north. You can run the beaches at dawn looking for migrating schools, or fish the inlets looking for the new resident fish. You know, you're also going to find fish in good numbers around the Vero Cove and around Peck's Lake and around Blowing Rock. They seem to just congregate in those areas. When you do find a school of fish on the beach, stop well ahead of those fish and either let them come to you or approach them using your trolling motor on the lower speed so you don't get them all freaked out. You can target the beach fish with live crabs, thread fins, pilchards, or mullet. You can throw flies. You can throw swimming plugs. And then in the inlets, the best action is on the outgoing tide, usually in the evenings when there's considerably less boat traffic. Float a live mullet or float a thread fin or a crab out with the tide and just hang on. Average tarpon in the region is going to be 60 to 100 pounds. And the other thing that's going on, the triple tail bite that a lot of people don't even really know about, a lot of people don't even fish in my area. It's been outstanding in the Indian River for the last 10 days between Jensen Beach and Fort Pierce. The guys that are fishing the channel markers and the manatee zone signs and the occasional crab trap buoy are doing really well on them. Most of triple tail will not be on the surface, but if you have side imaging like I do on my Humminbird Solex, you can just make circles around the marker poles and spot the fish on the screen to save time. Once you see them, you just move into that marker. Otherwise, you want to bop from marker to marker, casting a live shrimp, put it on a quarter-ounce jig head or a shrimp and a chartreuse jig combination, like a feather jig. Hit the marker with a cast, let the jig and jig head, the jig and shrimp sink to the bottom. Fish will usually eat the bait on the way down. Average triple tail 3 to 9 pounds with fish to 12 pounds in the mix.
All right, so give me your bass report for this week, bub.
Well, summer's here. Water levels are still very low in the Stick Marsh Farm 13 reservoir out there in Fellsmere, but the bass are really chewing. The key is to get on the water early. That's when the fish are really aggressive. Look for schooling fish busting shad on the surface, particularly on the south end of the reservoir. I was talking to Captain Dean Herdman of OneCastaway.com. He said you'll see those schoolies breaking on top, but there's a lot of bigger fish down below. You can throw topwater baits. He really likes poppers, but swim baits like a Bass Assassin, Elite Shiner, in any of the shad colors or the pearl colors, that'll really crush those fish right now. The south end of the reservoir is all weeded up close to shore, so you want to concentrate on the outside edges of the grass and also around those submerged irrigation ditches, which tend to have little cooler water in them, and also around the old pump house. You can throw 8-inch worms and June bug. If it's a bright sunny day, go to green pumpkin, red glitter, and as always, live shiners are going to catch more fish and bigger fish. So if you're just looking to catch fish, shiners are the way to go. I got a photo there. That's Dylan Lord. He caught that 8-pound stick marsh bass on a live shiner, and he was fishing with Captain Dean Herdman.
All right, great picks this week. Hollywood, thank you. Keep them coming. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the East region. Captain Mike says inshore tarpon on the beaches at First Light off of Peck's Lake. Use black and purple flies, live pilchards or crabs on a 6.0 VMC circle hook. And then offshore, blackfin tunas in 220 feet of water from Jupiter to Palm Beach. Use live chum with pilchards and 30-pound fluorocarbon leader to catch those guys.
Well, speaking of guys, if you ever wanted to meet Guy Harvey, now is your chance. If you live near Port St. Lucie on Saturday, June 3rd, head on over to Bell's from 12 to 2 p.m. and land an autograph from that guy.
Absolutely.
He's a great guy.
He is.
I just love saying that guy over and over again. All right, the Florida Keys is always a good place to start if you want some fresh mahi on your plate for dinner. So let's check in with Captain Randy Tao to find out how to get them. Hey, Randy.
Hey, good evening, fish fans. When we talk about dolphin, that's a big thing down here. People dolphin fish almost every day, especially on the weekends throughout the Keys. And it doesn't matter if you're in Key Largo, Islamorada, Marathon. You're going offshore, you're looking for a condition. Now, there's a couple of ways you can target dolphin. There are guys that go out and they get to a depth of water, maybe it's 300 or 400 feet, and they put their baits out and they troll to the south, and they look for debris and weed lines and birds. And we call that blind trolling. And a lot of guys, especially lately, because we've had very calm conditions this week, those guys have been catching some nice bull dolphin, 25, 30-pounders, blind trolling, which there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the other side of the coin is you can go and run and gun, where you're going to drive and you're going to get offshore and look for birds, you're going to look for debris, and you're going to not troll. You're going to spend your time looking, whether it's stopping, looking through binoculars, whether it's fishing a weed line, a set of birds, and all of these things are favorable for dolphin fishing. So there's a bunch of ways to do it. There's no gates. Dolphin can be from the edge of the reef all the way out to 2,000 feet of water. You just never know. And when I talk about dolphin, I always talk to my dolphin expert friend, Captain Brian Cohn, on his charter boat, the Contagious, out of Robbie's Marina. Brian goes dolphin fishing this time of year every day. That's what he does day in, day out. And he gets offshore. He has an area that he likes, whether it's around the humps or whether it's in 600 feet. But he'll go out there and he will look for the birds. He'll look for these fish migrating or under the birds, and he can target them. And he comes up with some really nice fish doing this. Now, sometimes you strike out, but he's pretty good at it. And he sent me a photo of Don Beasley from Las Vegas with a 42-pounder they caught a couple days ago.
Wow, what a nice fish. All right, what else you got for me offshore there, Cappy?
Blackfin tuna. You know, you're offshore anyway. A lot of these offshore humps are out in the deep. They're in 600-700 feet of water. And a lot of guys get out early. They troll the humps so they can catch dinner. You know, dark feathers or the worms that I like to fish, the purple or black or pink worms, you troll them slow, and you can catch enough fish for dinner. They aren't big. They might be 5 to 10 pounds, but it's kind of a quick fix, if you will, and you can catch these and then move on to something else. Now, if you want to target the bigger tunas, which generally they are there, you got to go with live bait. And the live bait's a lot of work getting it. It's a lot of work when you get out there, but guys do it routinely, and they've got it down pat. And the live pilchards are the bait of choice if you're going to chum them. Now, you're going to get up current of the hump, and you're going to start chumming, and you might throw 50 or 100 pilchards out. Just throw them out of the boat, and then put your lines out with a hook in it and drift over the top of the hump. And that's how these guys catch these big tunas. And Captain Jack Carlson from Two Conchs Charters in Marathon, he does this a lot, blackfin tuna fishing on his humps down off of Marathon, and he sent me a picture of Mate JC with a nice big blackfin.
Wow, that is a chunk there, man. All right, let's go inshore.
The tarpon fishing is still pretty strong, although a lot of the tarpon in the upper Keys have moved down to the 7 Mile Bridge and Bahia Honda area. But the guys in the backcountry, the last few days, especially because we've had beautiful, calm weather, they've been getting into some pretty good tarpon fishing. Now, the fly fishing guys taking advantage of it early in the morning, and then midday, they're going out to the ocean side when that visibility is at its best, and they're finding these migrating schools pushing to the south still, and they're getting a lot of shots with the fly rod. And talking to Captain Pablo Rodriguez with Slam Time Charters, now he fishes out of Marathon, so he might be fishing Bahia Honda 7 Mile Big Pine area. You never know with him, but he's been fishing out of his Contender Bay boat, and he's doing very well with the fly rod. He sent me a picture of Tom Walls. He wanted to catch a tarpon for his birthday, and he caught 2 of them on his birthday.
All right, congratulations, Tom. All right, what else you have for me inshore there, big boy?
Triple tails in the backcountry, flat, calm, beautiful conditions, hot. These triple tails are going to float out in Florida Bay and also the outer edges of the Gulf. You're going to see their white bellies from a distance. Pull up to them, throw a shrimp on top of their head, and hang on, because they've been very user-friendly the last few days, and guys are doing very well with the triple tails.
All right, thank you so much, Randy. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Florida Keys region. Captain Randy says inshore tarpon fish the 7 Mile or Bahia Honda bridges with small crabs and no more than 40-pound leader. And then offshore, blackfin tunas fish the Marathon humps, troll dark feathers way back, and bring live baits if you want to catch a big one.
My humps, my lovely. Yeah, you know that song, don't you?
No.
Okay, well, we'll have to show you sometime. There are always tournaments going on in the Florida Keys, so let's
really run with
take a
this.
look. Well, don't, please. Okay, thanks. Let's take a look at the tournaments in the Florida Keys, shall we? The world's top fly rod anglers endure a 5-day test of patience and finesse June 5th through the 10th in Islamorada at the Don Hawley Tarpon Fly Tournament. The annual contest benefits the Guides Trust Foundation. The ladies' tarpon fly, set for June 13th through the 15th, is an all-release fly fishing invitational that has attracted premier lady fly anglers and guides throughout its history. The ladies' Let's Go Fishing Offshore Inshore Anyone Can Win tournament, scheduled for June 16th and 17th, provides a weekend of fishing education and a fun competition in Islamorada. Anglers can fish with some favorite former Hurricanes All-Stars in the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame Celebrity Dolphin Tournament, June 23rd and 24th in Islamorada. It features cash prizes for the heaviest dolphin. And now, on to Andy Newman to see what featured tournaments he's talking about this week. Go for it, Andy.
Hosted by the Florida Keys Elks Lodge, The Ladies Dolphin Tournament is scheduled for June 9th and 10th in the Upper Keys. Now, the contest welcomes lady angler teams to compete for the highest aggregate weight of 3 dolphin fish. Top team prize is $3,000, and there's a single $1,000 prize for the largest dolphin caught. More details at FloridaKeys1872.com, and for more information on all tournaments in the Florida Keys, as well as great summer travel planning tips, go to FLAKeys.com.
Thank you very much, Andy. Coming right up on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, we're going to the Southwest region and then seeing what specific rigs and techniques Dave has for us at the CCA Workbench. Dave?
Yep, we're going to try to teach you how to catch a dolphin. I got 10 good tips for you.
10 good tips to
10
catch a
good
dolphin.
tips.
10
I
good
like
ones.
it.
All right, and we got something cooking in the
Maybe
studio,
8 good ones and
and
2
it smells delicious from Fire Disc. We're super excited about that.
Absolutely. I'm Lou Gasprin. We'll be cooking a paella tonight.
Sounds good. It's sizzling. We'll be right back, guys.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, find new roads. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Contender Boats, performance through innovation. Daiquiri Deck, Sarasota's favorite place to meet. Q-Max, maximum saltwater protection. And Sea Sucker, get pumped.
Hello, welcome. So Chevy is the most awarded car company 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Really?
Let's see how quickly you can read through all their awards.
Oh gosh. A lot of pressure.
You ready? Go.
2017 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Kelly Blue Book 2016 Best Resale Value. 2016 JD Power Highest Quality Ranking. 10 Best blah blah blah.
2017 IIHS Top Safety.
Only about 90 more to go.
2016 2017 North American Car of the Year.
That's a lot of awards.
Who would have thought?
Great, now I'm gonna have to go buy a new car.
Meet the water's lightest 25 horsepower four-stroke, the all-new Yamaha F25, the new standard and 25 horsepower portable four-strokes. At just 126 pounds, it's got the best power-to-weight ratio of any 25 horsepower four-stroke on the water. With performance that bests the previous Yamaha F25 and features like Yamaha's VTS for precise trolling speeds, batteryless EFI, built-in resting pads, and carry handles, it's the perfect portable power for small boats.
It's one of the most ancient forms of hide and seek known to man. And nobody knows how to play the fishing game better than the backcountry guides and offshore captains of the Florida Keys and Key West. Ready or not, here we come.
Welcome back, guys and gals. Let's now take a look at the FWC news and notes. June 10th, there's a ladies fishing clinic in St. George Island, and June 24th, a kids fishing clinic in Cape Canaveral. For more information, visit myfwc.com. But now it's time for rigs and techniques.
Well, you said at the tees that we had 10.
Yes, I did. I came up with 10.
Here at the CCA Workbench.
8 of them are really
I can't
good.
wait to
2
hear.
of them you probably heard before.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just get
First
to
one
it.
you probably heard before. We want to find blue water. Warm blue water. Dolphin like warm water. They're a warm water species. We want to find warm blue water with bait in it. Bait being the key. You know, debris is good, but if there's bait and no debris, that's still good. If there's birds and debris, that's good, but it'd be better if there was bait. If we can find bait in blue water, that's what we really want. Bait, debris, and birds, then we're just golden.
We're just catching.
Exactly. But that's what we want to try to find, because dolphin will associate with floating debris. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're in if you find a good patch of bait, but there's no bait, a big patch of weeds and there's bait on it, but you don't see any dolphin, go ahead and chum it.
Oh.
Chumming, if you come up on a weed patch and you start chumming that thing, Dolphins will satellite around a big weed patch, and they'll hang with it for miles and miles and miles. And sometimes, but they'll go away from it and come back, and go away from it and come back during the day. And if you're sitting there and you start chumming, and it gets that activity working underneath that thing, it'll draw them in.
Right.
And a lot of times when you don't see any, they're still down there.
Right.
Use J-hooks when targeting dolphin. First of all, you can catch them on circle hooks, and we want to usually use a circle hook, especially when we're fishing for things we're going to let go. We usually don't let go dolphin if they're of legal size, and it's really hard to hook them sometimes on a circle hook if you're using a big piece of bait, because the bait gets in the way of them hooking up. Also, the speed at which a dolphin grabs a bait, especially when he's got his friends around, he'll grab a bait and take off, trying to get away from his buddies who are all trying to eat that same thing that's hanging out of his mouth, and he won't swallow it, and you'll come tight and you'll get the head back.
Yeah, it comes yanking
Sankocho.
back.
Either that or he'll swallow it and he's moving so fast and you come tight too fast and start to wind and it'll come right out of
Flips
his
the hook
mouth.
off. Doesn't have time to slap.
Exactly. So, if you get into a bunch of schoolies where you're just catching them and to let them go ahead and switch back to your circle hooks. But if you're going to try to kill them, use your J hooks. Naked ballyhoo will always give you a better hookup than if there's a lure in front of it. But at the same time, a lot of guys aren't going to believe me, but these, an island lure and these other little lures, they work just fine without a ballyhoo.
Right.
We all think they have to have a ballyhoo in it. The guy who made this, he made this because he was tired of pulling ballyhoo.
Right. Right.
And it works without a ballyhoo, but we all stick a ballyhoo in it because that's what we were taught. But they will work without a ballyhoo.
Well, we think that things have to have a smell for a fish
right,
that's
but
voracious to eat it.
He doesn't smell it before he eats it. He sees it from a long way away, comes piling in
Good
on
point.
it. He's not sniffing. All right. Bigger dolphin, you can use, they lurk on the outskirts of the school. If you get onto a bunch of, 10-pound dolphin, the big giant ones are going to be at the bottom and on the far outskirts. So if you can get baits down deep or throw a popper or something way far out, like a big popper like that you can put on a spinning rod and get way on the outskirts of that school and pop it. They'll come up from deep to hit that popper, or they'll be out there on the outside of the school.
So do you think
or
when
you
you
drop
use-
a live bait all the way down to the bottom, or down to the bottom of that school. A lot of times you'll get a big wahoo doing that because wahoos will also stalk a school of dolphins.
When you use a big bait, that eliminates a small fish.
Yes, big
don't you
baits
think?
catch big dolphins, Yeah. I caught, with a buddy of mine, we caught an 80-pound dolphin on a giant Brasiliano one time.
What?
So don't be afraid. If you're in a place where you're wanting to catch big things, use big baits.
You better hurry.
Keep a dolphin's head in the water when it's time to, when you're gaffing him. If you pull his head up, he's going to want to jump. It's hard to hit one in the air. I know a lot of guys like to try it. We got a lot of lumberjacks, cat. No, go real easy, smooth and
Slide it,
easy.
boop.
Hit him in the eyeballs. Lay the gaff on the leader and pop him right in the eyes with a gaff pointing backwards.
Right.
You're gonna hit him in his face.
I like it.
We're not gonna mess up.
Keep him on the line.
Keep one on the line.
So they're gonna jump and
This
they
is probably
jump.
one you've heard. Keep him on the line. It's not that they're hanging out with the buddy. It's because he starts throwing up when he gets hooked. And when he's throwing up, he's chumming for everybody else. As soon as that one stops barfing, get him out and get a new barfer in there. So he can keep coming. Keep him
What's
coming.
the last
All right.
one?
Use a dead ballyhoo and an Eiler combination. You can't beat any color, any time.
I'm
Island
telling you,
lure.
that was the best
10
Dolphin
goes.
101. I learned so much. And Bree, what'd you learn?
Replace the barfer with the barfer. Replace the non-barfer with a barfer. Okay, the dolphin bite is still going on in the Bell's Southwest region, so listen up as Ronnie Houston tells you how it's done.
Well, like always, guys, it's a pleasure being here. We're going to talk about it. It's not a normal thing we do over here, but this is a show about learning, and we're going to give some insight for the guy who wants to learn. Normally, when looking for dolphin in the Southwest region, you normally want to start in about the 50-mile range and beyond. But for some reason this year, due to the weather, you can start as close as 35 miles out looking for schools. But come to tell you, the average size for these fish, guys, are going to be anywhere from 1 to 4 pounds. But occasionally bigger fish will be caught. Now, you want to look for scattered weeds with birds. Now, patches won't be as big as the East Coast, but we're looking for just enough to hold bait. And when I mean birds, it can be just as many as a couple birds. Now, the baits are relatively simple once located. Wider chartreuse bucktails, also chunks of squid will work, but like Dave the barfer said, bigger fish will travel with these fish. Keep a pitch bait handy. Keep a bigger reel and a spinning outfit handy for that bigger fish that might end up moving in. They'll be traveling with them. Now, also, as you're fishing for these dolphins, You'll be out in those areas. There'll be sailfish in the area. There might be blackfin tuna in the mix traveling with them. So like I say, guys, always be ready. I've got a picture of a dolphin that was caught earlier this year. These guys were just out simply looking for kingfish and came upon a school of dolphin in the 40-mile range. Now also, on the offshore side, we're going to talk about the permits. The bite's been great, and I've talked about it for the last couple of weeks. It still continues to be good from Goodland to Fort Myers Beach. Right now, the depths are anywhere from 50 to 75 foot of water. Now, live crabs free-lined on the wrecks and towers are really the way to go, either anchor up in and around the area. But over the years, these numbers that you have or that are listed on these websites, they've been broken up over the years over these storms. So scatter the area, work the area up to about a quarter-mile out. The smallest piece off that might be holding these fish. And I've got another picture right now of a couple guys, Captain Wes Fidel and Mike Tobin. They were actually out permit fishing, but caught a cobia. So right now, there's cobia and permit in the same areas. I've also got a note on the offshore side, guys. Red snapper season opens today. And for the guy who's looking to learn, who wants to get out, for most charter boat captains, right now the season's open to July 20th. So if you're looking to catch some red snappers, we got several good offshore captains in the region that can get it done. Now, on the offshore side, inshore side, we'll talk about the snooks. The whole outer Gulf Coast right now, from Stump Pass to Marco, fishing beaches and passes on the higher stages of the tide. Now, down south from Marco to Lossman's River, lower stages can be good along oyster bars and hard bottom, matched with potholes or deeper depressions near them. Live pilchard, silver spoons, chrome-colored walk-the-dog lures, or the Bass Assassin's 5-inch die dapper and white alarm truce on a quarter-inch jig head, or simply white bucktails. And I got a great picture here of a guy who just fished with me. All I could hear him talk about all day was Bree. Wouldn't get off the subject. He never gave me his name. Wow. You see he's wearing a mask, so Bree, we're going to nickname him the Masked Man, who's in favor for Bree.
I love it, Ronnie.
Also on the inshore side, we're going to talk about the redfish. Concentrate right now. Guys are concentrating on the tarpon, so the pressure's a little off on the inshore. Bull and Turtle Bay, also the west wall on the higher stages of the tide, along the mangroves or troughs out in front of them, especially with their schools of mullet. That's been the key. A lot of pressure on the tarpon, like I said, at the moment, so now would be a great time. Gold spoon skipped under the bushes, live pilchard, and the heat of the day, chummed or cut ladyfish tied up underneath the bushes with mullet or pinfish. Should be an excellent weekend. Winds look like they're going to die down for this weekend.
All right, you tell Mike Tucker, thanks for sending that picture in, and I'm in favor for Bree myself. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the southwest region. Inshore, tarpon, nighttime bridges and passes from Fort Myers Beach to Punta Gorda using live mullet, ladyfish, and 4 to 6 inch dark colored swimming baits. And then offshore, cobia, Stump Pass to Sanibel, 45 to 60 feet of water, fishing wrecks and using crabs or large baits.
That was so cool.
That was cool. The Masked Man.
The Masked Man needs to show himself. I want to know who that is.
I just told you.
Show yourself, the Masked Man. All right, CCA Florida's Star, presented by Yamaha, began this past Saturday with 500,000 in prizes, and we're going to talk about that when we come back right here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, or we could talk about it right now. The Coast to Kick Plastic Trash Division is sponsored by CCA Star, and first place prize is $500 just for picking up trash off the beach provided by Sunset. So make sure you check that out at ccaflorida.org, and we will be right back now on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Woo!
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers, everything for your outdoor adventures. The American Fishing Tackle Company, precision tackle and performance clothing since 1958. Best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply. Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. And Casa Vieja Lodge, 5-star angling in beautiful Guatemala.
I think it's time to change my battery. Now you do it.
Get AC Delco batteries at Bennett Auto Supply. Plus, get $10 off your first online purchase when you register at BennettAuto.com.
Bennett Auto Supply. Do it yourself, but not alone.
I'm Captain Rick Murphy, and I'm a life member of CCA. Why am I so involved with CCA, you ask? Because I want our fisheries to be in better shape for my kids and their kids. CCA is working to ensure the future of recreational fisheries and the rights of recreational anglers. The future of fishing starts today with you. How do you want to leave things with your kids? If you're like me, you'll want to make the right choice and go to joinccaflorida.com right now.
As close as you're gonna get to a sure thing for catching billfish is Guatemala.
They're here, man. This has been a 20-year run, buddy. These things haven't left, there's no cycle.
When it comes to sail fishing, this is the real deal.
The amount of sailfish here is ridiculous.
Hi guys, today we're here to talk about the Chevy Silverado Special Edition.
Awesome.
What's your first impression?
It looks sick. This is one gorgeous truck.
Oh, did I say there was only one special edition? Because actually there's 5.
Nice strength and style.
Which one's your favorite?
Come home with me.
Introducing the Chevy Silverado Special Editions.
Well, Rick, are you enjoying all this audience love we have going on tonight?
Absolutely, what's not to enjoy? Look at all these great people fishing.
They're amazing. They all love Dolphin. They're all here to party on set with us. We love it. Guys, are you having fun? Yes, we are. I love it. Okay, well, now, starting until June 18th, you can sign up to win the Bells Fishing Trip Contest with Captain Rick and myself for a half day of fishing and a 2-night stay at the Islander Resort at Guy Harvey Outpost in Islamorada. To enter, visit one of your local Bells stores, or you can go online to facebook.com/BellsFlorida. Rick, this is always such a fun trip for us to do. Oh my gosh, I love doing this every year.
It's the best.
Catch lots of fish, have lots of laughs, take lots of pictures.
That's right.
It's real good. All right, well, the Startron Central West region may not be known for our dolphin friends, but they do show themselves from time to time. So let's hear it. Jeff Page.
All right, my voice is a little down, but I'm going to do my best. First thing we got to make clear is that the Startron Central West region is not a dolphin mahi destination, but we do have a decent summertime bite that most of the time happens out in 100 feet of water or out. Pretty much the same pattern and tricks apply here, with the most important being finding bait schools holding on structure mixed with a solid weed line or even a color change in the water. Then you control your smaller X-wraps, or better yet, jets in the blue-black pattern, or you can spot lock or anchor up over an area and start chumming pilchards and threads to fire them up and then throw out a free liner. Moving offshore, species 2, red snapper, with the 3-day recreational season starting and ending this week. Look for the American red to be the targeted species for sure. One of the most of the captains I've spoken with are saying that 120 feet is the starting point, which is about 35 miles, and then you want to work your way out after that to about 140 to 150 feet. Try using cut threads and sardine mixture with a squid trailer, standard bottom chicken rig, or go to old school Chris Seeger knocker rig. No matter how you slice it, red snapper will be on the fillet table this weekend. I've got a picture tonight of Captain Randy Powell with a nice red snapper he caught in a release last week. Rolling inshore, tarpon. As we roll into June, we are usually well into our tarpon season, but with the 5th or 6th of April, with a 5 or 6 April and May full-blown northwesters that you predicted, Rick, look for June to be a much stronger, more predictable month than May was. That being said, Captain Jay Withers, Captain Dave Hutchinson down south, and then the Captain Jeremy Lee, Ryan Ellis, and Captain R.C. Gilliland in the central and north part, and they're all Pathfinder captains, are all having successful trips using a mixture of live freeline crabs and thread fins as well. Look for the fish laid up early in small groups, anywhere from 100 yards off the beach to a quarter mile out. The afternoon has been more predictable if you can handle the sea breeze, with bigger bunches of fish tracking down the beach and a lot less boat traffic. Got a photo tonight of Captain Clark Wright of the Right Stuff with one of his double headers.
That's a great picture there, Paige. Go ahead and tell me about the trout fishing inshore.
Trout bite's gotten into its much more predictable pattern as well, with the push of a lot of small hatch bait and glass minnows. The trout have set up in their more usual spots like the Cape Hayes Point Flat, Mondongo Island Flat down to the south, and the middle ground bulkhead and the deep grass flats off Bishop's Harbor to the north. Try throwing the Saltwater Assassin 4-inch sea shad in the bone diamond pattern rigged on a quarter-ounce Saltwater Assassin jig head or a live pilchard under a popping cork. And my last photo is a longtime Sarasota fishing guide, Captain Johnny Walker, and a happy client. I've got a real quick note. Next week at my Sunset Chevrolet Fishing Tales, Thursday at 6:30, my special guest is Central West legend, Captain Scott Moore.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. Go take care of that throat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Daiquiri Deck Central West hotspots. Pompano are hitting the Euro Flats jigs in 3/8 and yellow and white patterns off of Emerson Point. And then offshore, Permit. The offshore bite remains strong throughout the entire region.
Oh, poor Paige. His throat sounds like it hurts so bad. He needs to go get some zinc on that ASAP.
I don't know what he needs.
Needs to fish more. Duh.
I think maybe too much fishing.
Too much fishing. All right, always helping people catch some memories is Captain Jim Ross in the Bell's Central East region, and those memories I'm sure have Dolphin from time to time, right, Jim?
Well, they sure do. I tell you what, though, Jeffrey needs to go gargle with some salt water, take some rest, and get out there fishing. Just like you said, Breen, he'll be ready to go.
Yep.
But the dolphin in my region are fantastic on some years. This year, not so much, though. There's still some fish out there. We're catching them. They're hitting ballyhoo, flying fish, those sorts of things, trolled at 4 to 7 knots. And, the thing about trolling is it's a great way to cover ground, because if you're not hooking fish, you're covering more ground. You're finding where the fish are going to be, finding that quality water that's holding those fish. This year it's been a lot of schoolie-sized dolphin and a couple of gaffers thrown in there. But, for most of the fish this year, it's really been about finding really, really good temperature breaks. That seems to be the key, is finding a good solid 1.5 degree temperature break. That's where most of those gaffer-sized dolphin are. Now, the other thing you can get is some of those bigger dolphin, and we typically get them this time of the year. Hopefully we're going to see them show up, but if you go to the east side of the Gulf Stream, there have been some better dolphin over there, and that's where you're going to get those cows and bulls. And those are those big prize fish that everybody wants. But right now, trolling in about 75 to about 125, maybe 130 feet of water seems to be pretty good. And then there's some dirty water in between. You need to get outside of 600 feet to find our dolphin right now. Now, species 2 is gag grouper, and generally those fish are very, very good this time of year as well. They just opened up on the first part of the month, and they're typically on your 180 to 250 foot structures. Now, there was some really good fish that came in at the CFOA tournament last year. Some of those gags were over 40 pounds. Most of those fish hit live baits or really large cut baits on the bottom with an 8 to 12 foot leader and about 80 to 100 pound Suffix main line, and then about an 80 to 100 pound test Suffix leader as well. Once you find where the gags are holding, you want to get the bait down in through the bait that's stacked up on the wrecks, and you also try to get past the red snapper and the amberjack. Those two are going to try and intercept anything that you're dropping down. So look for good bait stacks on the high relief bottom on the 27 fathom ridge. That's where you're probably going to find your best size grouper right now. Pull out on the upwind side or up current side and drift the bait way out in front. Get it down below where the bait stack is, and then come through the area so that your bait's down sort of underneath those bait stacks and those amberjack and red snapper. And a lot of those grouper, like I said, are going 30 to 40 pounds right now. Now, swinging inshore. We've had a fantastic run of speckled trout this year, and this week, once again, is no exception. The guys are having good keeper-sized fish limits in the Mosquito Lagoon, the North Indian River, and even some down in the Vero Beach area around those spoil islands and mangrove-covered shorelines down there. Skitterwalk plugs are still working very well in the morning. Saltwater Assassin salty snacks, if it's a slick calm day in particular, or just a light chop, and the topwater plugs, the Rappalos, like the Skitterwalks, are making too much noise, that salty snack is awesome. And that glow chartreuse or that fried chicken seem to be the two best colors. Middle of the day, mid-morning to midday, guys are switching to live pigfish. That seems to be the best way to go and get those big trout right now. And the other thing that you want to look for this past week, earlier in the week, the ICW channel between Oak Hill and New Smyrna, there were a lot of shrimp running on this last moon, and the trout were in there feeding on them really heavily. So live shrimp on an Assassin 1/8 to 1/4 ounce Pro Series jig head is a great way to cover those feeding fish, especially when you see them coming to the top, busting shrimp and feeding underneath the birds that are also trying to get some of this. Now I've got another trout here. Captain Scott McCalla has been putting his clients on some great trout, and this is no exception. He took Bruce Strong here, and he got some really, really nice trout last week with him, and that's one of the average-sized trouts you're going to catch in the Mosquito Lagoon. So those are pretty good right now. And if any of you guys want to get a hold of Captain Scott, you can reach him at mosquitolagoonflyfishing.com. Our last species, Rick and Bree, is tarpon, and we have a lot of baby tarpon that moved into the region this week, actually the past 2 or 3 weeks. And the little creeks, canals, and all those sorts of things that lead into the Indian and Banana River lagoons are holding those fish. They're busting little glass minnows, small pilchards, and finger mullet first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. So you want to use a really small lure. Now, Rapala makes an ultralight minnow, and not a lot of guys know about this, but this is one of my go-tos for the baby tarpon because it imitates the glass minnows really well, and you can put some decent-sized hooks on it to actually make it catch those fish without straightening out those little hooks. The other thing that you can work is the Assassin panfish jig. Do you guys know that bait works for speckled trout? Well, guess what? It imitates a glass minnow, and the tarpon love them. So you guys and gals get out there this week. Go out and have a great time in the Central East region.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the sea sucker hotspots from the Central East region. Inshore, speckled trout in the ICW channel near Oak Hill. Look for the trout busting shrimp on the surface during the outgoing tide. Fish live shrimp or lightweight jig heads on a lightweight jig head. And then offshore cobias on the reef, wrecks, and turtles in 40 to 90 foot depths. Pitch live baits on a VMC Coastal Black live bait hook, Bree.
Okay, if we haven't fished your region yet, don't worry because we still have half the state to get to. Next is the Panhandle region, and we're gonna go to Dave to show us some new product swag. You got some good products for us today, Dave?
I got some nice gloves. Stuff that Rick never wears.
Never wears, but
you can tell by looking at his Parmesan cheese hands he's got.
Glad you said it.
You need some of these, man.
All right.
You need some of these, man.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Hey, Murphy, you need some of these.
Yeah, I need them.
Need some of these.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. FWC, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Navionics, we start where the road ends. Soft Science, supreme comfort footwear. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Real legends, exclusively at Bell's. And Maverick Boat Group, makers of premium boat brands Maverick, Hughes, and Pathfinder.
Yamaha's 4.2-liter V6 offshore 4-strokes. For those that like their V6 lighter, faster, and stronger. Setting new standards for power, efficiency, speed, and lightweight. Built for the rigors of offshore boating. Packed with Yamaha's legendary reliability. And now Yamaha's 4.2-liter V6 4-strokes offer a choice between digital or mechanical controls to match your rigging preference. Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
Hey, how do you like your contender? How do I like my contender? What's not to like? Dude, I just saw a contender, and man, I gotta give me one.
here at the CCA workbench, and we had to zip it like a yeah. And you know what? We got some cool products, man.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. First off, we're going to start with these new concept lures. The fella in Jacksonville makes these, and these are his rattling poppers is what he calls them. He loves rattlers, and he puts rattles on everything. But these are really nice poppers. You know, a lot of the fellas you hear him talking about how they catch a lot of things under a popping cork. Well, these are the new ones from New Concept Lures. He makes 3 different sizes there. You got a 2-inch. That's 3/8 ounce, a 2.5 inch, that's 3/4 ounce, and a 4, the Big Daddy,
the Mongo,
with his 1 1/4 ounce. And you can cast that thing a mile.
Look at the size of the weight.
Big weight on there. It's one of the it's one of the problems you have with a popping cork. Sometimes you can't make really long casts with them.
Yeah.
These things will cast like a bullet. And also he makes these little no-brainers. And he says when you combine these the popping corks with a little no-brainer, the little no-brainer has a little weight right on the shank of a circle hook. That thing goes down. It's going to be a brute.
You know what I really like about this? How about this in yellowtail fishing with a mahua on there?
Anything, yeah, a little glass minnow or mahara, and they're also good. You put a shrimp or a crab underneath that popping cork. You can catch tarpon. You can catch just about everything.
The permit on the wrecks.
Exactly.
Good job, guys.
New Concept Lures.
Good job.
All right, I found these while I was the other day. I was fishing for frogs.
All choked up about this.
Yeah,
I love it.
I was fishing for frogs, and I saw these on the side, and I go, man, those are pretty cool. Because at this time of year, I live on a lake, and I've got at dusk, the top of my lake just starts to just vibrate because all the little shad come up on the top. I don't know if they're eating stuff or making little baby shads, but they're all busy out there on the top of the water, and they get in little lines like that. And this thing looks like 2 little shad, following each other on the surface, and they make it different sizes, for the
little bitty
ones.
Little bitty.
That's the big one's a 6.75 inches, and that's 4.5 inches. 9 different color patterns. They even make one that looks like a snake, that does a snake motion. And,
that'd be good in the Everglades, because I heard a rumor they got a snake problem down there.
Yeah, well, bass love to eat snakes, and they'll eat that. Those are lunker hunts, by the way. Lunker Hunt Leak. If you go to lunkerhunt.com, you can find them.
Okay.
All right, this is a sweeper jig from First Light Tackle. It's another Florida boy, and he makes a lot of snook jigs. And this is a snook jig as well, but this is one of his jigs that can be used to catch just about anything. It's called a sweeper jig because it's got a wider head on it, and you can just retrieve this jig without having to do a whole lot of bouncing. It'll still swim pretty good because of that wide head. It won't get caught in the rocks as much as a regular bucktail. And he puts really nice hooks on them, Mustad 8/0 forged, an extra flare. It's good
put
for
your live bait without
exactly. If you wanted to put a bait on there, it's good for tarpon snappers. He makes a 1.5, a 2, and a 3 ounce. He makes as big as you want to get them.
And obviously we got the bucktail white kind, but obviously it's not bucktail, but the point is white.
Right, and he gets a really nice long flare on there.
I like it.
Yeah, really good stuff from First
Well
Light.
thought out.
Yeah, he's from Fort Pierce, that fellow.
Okay.
All right, we got. Last but not least, we got some Fish Monkey gloves. Now, my good buddy Charles Perry, he helps these guys design these. He's probably one of the best wiremen in the world. He came with me to a ton of marlin universities to teach people how to wire fish. And he wires big blue marlin and big black marlin and bluefin tuna. And these are the gloves that he helped Fish Monkey design. And they all have Kevlar reinforcements on them. These heavy duty Beastmaster wiring gloves, they have a nice rubber section inside. They have the fingerless right at the tops and your thumb, so you can touch stuff and get a tactile sensation if you're wanting to do something other when you got your gloves on. I like because they got a V wrist. They got that V, so it helps to get them off. Nice, really hard Velcro. The Beastmasters have a little bit longer cuff to go back, to save you if you get some wire, if you make a miswrap. Really good gloves.
That's a good description, a miswrap.
And you don't want to make a miswrap. Always 2. Never 1, never 3. Always make 2 wraps.
Is that how the rule is?
That's the rule.
I look forward to you teaching me that in Guatemala.
All right, man.
Nice work over here at the workbench this week, Dave.
No
CCA's
worries.
got it going on. All right, Bree. Speaking of monkey gloves, you're...
Yes, do I look like a monkey glove?
Yeah, man.
Okay, thanks. Captain Pat Zanine in the Yeti Panhandle region has the Dorado on lockdown, so let's hear it, Pat.
Hey, Bree, we get dolphins spring through fall. Typically, they're going to be offshore in 50-plus fathoms of water, particularly anywhere you find some floating structure or weed lines. And we'll get smaller dolphin usually later in the summer, August, early September. But this summer, there's been a lot of them around already within a few miles of the beach, and several of them have also been caught off of the area piers, and I've seen them just off that second sandbar. So they're a little bit early inshore this year, but definitely the bigger dolphin are usually deeper. You want to find some good blue water with grass that's either made up in a rip line or in big, large rafts of grass, or really a pallet, a piece of wood, anything floating out there is liable to hold some dolphin. But to find those rip lines in the blue water, use a satellite service like Roth's or Rip Charts or Hilton's, and it's a great way to have an idea of where you need to go before you leave the dock. And then also networking with other guys that fish a lot offshore helps tremendously. Most of them are caught trolling naked ballyhoos, skirted ballyhoos, or smaller 8 to 10 inch lures. Offshore, you may find something that is loaded up with a dolphin, with a pallet or something like that. So have some spinning rods ready, rigged and ready, so you can just pull in your lures, back up, stern up to that structure, and go to war with the light tackle and have a really good time catching them that way. And also, wherever you're going to find an abundance of dolphin jacked up on a piece of structure like that, there's a really good chance that there's a blue marlin in the vicinity. So always be ready for that occurrence as well. And then staying offshore, the red snapper season opens in both state and federal waters June 1st. It's the first day of the season. It's usually a bit crazy with the amount of boats heading out to snapper fish, especially like this year. We only have a 3-day federal season, recreational federal season. The bigger fish are typically going to be on the smaller reefs and wrecks in water 80 to 150 feet deep. Use a nose hook cigar minnow or herring on a slip sinker rig, 5 to 10 feet of 40 to 60 pound fluorocarbon, and a 4 to 7 aught circle hook. You want to drop your baits to the bottom, crank it up a few cranks, then fish with your rod tip up high, not pointing down towards the water, but keep that rod tip high. When you feel the bite, tap of the bite, you can lower that rod tip, give a little bit of a drop back to them, and then start winding, and that circle hook will do its job. Good grade of snappers lately have been in the 12 to 16 pounds, and there's a photo of Jeff Howe from Ohio, and that's a real nice red snapper he caught on a fly rod out of Destin last summer.
Wow, Pat, if he's catching on the fly rod, he must have been way up in the water column. Pretty
stuff. Yeah, you can chum them up with chunks and then have a fly. Usually it's going to be a white fly or something that fairly well resembles those chunk baits.
All right, so let's go inshore, bud.
Speckled trout continue to dominate the inshore fishery. They're on the grass in 2 to 5 feet of water. Captain Justin Leake over in Panama City reports that the grass flats throughout West Bay seem to be loaded up with trout right now. You want to fish shallow in 2 to 3 feet of water at first light, casting a topwater plug like a skitter walk or a mirror top dog, and that's where you're usually going to find some of those bigger trout. The greater numbers of trout will be on the edges of the flats in 3 to 5 feet of water, basically where that grass goes to sand and then rolls down into the deeper water. You can use a jig head with a grub tail, a mid-water twitch bait, a live bait, or a DOA shrimp suspended underneath a clacker bobber. They all are working great right now. You can use really any lure color as long as it has some chartreuse in it. The trout really tend to key in on that. And there's been some nice 20-plus inch trout being caught. And then finally, inshore, you're going to find a variety pack of species, including bluefish, Spanish, ladyfish, in any of the bays throughout the Panhandle. It's a steady action for kids, even big kids or even freshwater fly fishermen that have never done any saltwater fishing with a fly. This is a great fishery for them. Most productive areas are the deeper grass flats near the inlets or off the bigger points in the bay. In Destin, our area, the White Point, Black Point, and also the north side of Crab Island all tend to have a lot of fish on them. You can cast spoons, jigs, topwaters on spinning tackle, or clousers, streamers, or crease flies on fly tackle. And it's a great fallback plan, especially when the day gets a little bit towards the middle part of the day and the trout bite tends to slow down a bit. You can go in and fish for these other species midday.
All right, thank you so much, Pat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. Inshore, flounder in and around Indian Pass near the structure using bull minnows on a Carolina rig. And then offshore, red snappers are open and they are going to be on all the reefs and wrecks in 70-plus feet of water, Bree.
Wada. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but make sure you stay hooked because not only do we have the northeast and northwest regions to cover, but we're also seeing what our fire disc cooking pro, Lou, is firing up. Smells good, Lou.
Man, you're cooking it there, Lou.
Right behind it. I can see it. I can smell it. We'll be right back, guys.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala, Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Startron cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Yeti, built for the wild. CCA Florida, the voice of recreational anglers for over 30 years. Strike Zone Fishing, your fish hunt paddle store. And Guy Harvey, marine wildlife artist and conservationist.
Hello, welcome. So Chevy is the most awarded car company 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Really?
Let's see how quickly you can read through all their awards.
Oh gosh, a lot of pressure.
You ready? Go.
2017 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Kelley Blue Book 2016 Best Resale Value.
2016 JD Power Highest Quality Ranking. Wow.
10 Best blah, blah, blah.
2017 IIHS Top Safety.
Only about 90 more to go.
2016 2017 North American Car of the Year.
That's a lot of awards.
Who would have thought?
Great, now I'm gonna have to go buy a new car.
Flagler Construction Equipment is your certified Takeuchi equipment dealer, servicing 55 counties in Florida. With Takeuchi, you get brute strength combined with bulletproof durability. That means low downtime and optimal production. Flagler Construction Equipment is the partner for all your Takeuchi sales, service, and rental needs, and your first and last stop for legendary customer service and support. Pros know Takeuchi. Get to know Flagler Construction Equipment by stopping by one of our 6 locations or visit us on the web at www.flaglertakeuchi.com.
So Lou, you're here from Fire Disc. You're one of the pro staff, and everybody already knows what the Fire Disc is, but it is the ultimate grilling machine. But we're making a paella tonight, so let's talk about how we're going to do this.
Well, Rick, like you said, everybody knows about, it's too smoky right here.
No,
everybody knows about the Fire Disc.
Oh,
it's a portable propane cooker. Go ahead and stir that around a little bit.
All right, I'm hipping you.
So we're starting with a little olive oil. I'm going to make the ingredients. I can't do the rice right now because of television, but I've pre-made the rice, okay?
Perfect. Yeah.
So we start with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of garlic. So let's put a little bit of onions in here.
I like it.
Okay? You just kind of get these stirring around a little bit.
Now, Lou, why do you use olive oil instead of a different type of oil?
Well, Rick, I like to use the extra virgin light olive oil because it has a burn rate of about 550 degrees.
Oh, so it
where
doesn't
the
burn.
canolas and the vegetables, they burn like 360 to 400.
Oh.
So it's
a little more room for error.
Absolutely.
I like it. What is this?
So we got some chorizo sausage.
Okay.
Let's sausage it up. Sausage it up in here for you.
Nice.
These are our steps.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and stir that around, Rick, because you're doing good. Don't miss these onions over here now. Come on, I mean, what the heck, man? We don't want any raw
you
food
snuck
in
those
this.
in there on me, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
all right,
so
man.
Just keep moving those babies around.
All right, I'm flipping.
Do you want me to help you
Let's
with
keep
it?
going. No, man, just keep pouring stuff in
Okay,
there.
here. Put a little chicken in here.
Chicken?
Okay.
Every man likes chicken. That's definitely, I was born eating chicken.
Okay, come on.
Veggies?
Little veggies, little red, yellow, orange.
Now
color.
we're getting some color.
Yeah, we're getting a little color in this thing.
So is there any secret that we need to know about cooking on a fire disc?
Let me see that.
Yeah,
baby.
please show me.
Yeah, because I don't want you to hurt yourself. Secret on a fire disc. No, not really. I always tell people cook on low, Rick. It's 500 degrees right in the center on a fire disc. On a 1 pound, use a 1 pound bottle or 20. It's 500 degrees in the center. It's about 400 in the middle and 225 on the outer edge. So as you cook, you keep your food moving. So it doesn't really burn. You want to season this just like a cast iron skillet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So in a paella, what are the ingredients we've got?
So we've
sausage,
got chorizo, we've got chicken, we've got some red, green, yellow, orange peppers. I've got onions, I've got garlic, and what I'm going to do, of course, we have our saffron rice.
Right.
Okay, and peas. But I had to make that prior to this because we don't have the time.
Right.
So
how long does it typically take to make a paella? And it
In a
is
fire
literally a perfect dish for the fire disc because of the size.
Oh, absolutely. This holds 5 gallons. So
5 gallons.
Let's go ahead and put a few shrimp and some clams and some mussels in here.
Nice.
So you can see now how long have we been cooking. If you were going to make a small pie,
2.5 minutes.
We'd be done in 5 to 10 minutes.
Well, for the beauty of TV.
For the beauty of TV.
Why not we just go ahead and show what the finished product. Go ahead and stick that on there.
That is the finished product.
And the next thing you need to do, Lou, is get one of those plates, put some stuff on there for me. Don't worry about this, I got this. I need a plate and a fork because I'm getting ready to do the testing. I'm the field tester for Fire Disc now. You're the pro staff, you're the cook, and I'm gonna be field testing. Hurry up, Lou. Because I'm running out of time.
You're running out of patience?
I'm running out of patience. I mean, my mouth here is just wandering.
Here you go, Rick.
All right.
Just that quick, I'll take over the cooking.
Yeah, you do that.
Because we don't want to burn anything.
Bree, I want to tell you something, Bree.
I'm so close.
I'm thinking of you right now, Bree.
Are you? That's sweet. How sweet of you. I can see it.
But more importantly, Dave, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, Dave, we'll save some for
he
you.
gets to do all the
Oh
eating.
my goodness, Lou, thank you so much. I've learned so much about the Fire Disc. And Bree?
Okay, well, you're stuffing your face over there.
You're fine. No.
All right, you can find Dolphin in the Flagler Construction Equipment Northwest region, but you're really going to have to want them, right, Hag?
That is true. You guys got me hungry now. I'm ready for some dinner.
Oh, it smells good in here. It's brutal.
I'm sure it does. Dolphin can be found throughout my region, but like you said, you're going to have to make a little bit of run if you want to go out there and catch them. The summer months right now in that 70 feet of water, you want to look for weed lines, birds, bait, any kind of float and flotsam. The fish in less than 100 feet of water are usually going to be chickens in my region. They're going to be those smaller dolphins. Once you get out past the shelf there, you get some bigger fish, and all this stuff that everybody's been talking about tonight works. Trolling pink and white or blue and white, soft heads, with or without ballyhoo will work. And offshore, anytime I go offshore, I like to carry a little light spinning rod with an 1/8 or a 1/4 ounce yellow bucktail jig. That's always quick. If you see a bunch of chickens coming by the boat, you can flip that out there and catch them. But like I said, you're going to have to make a run, get out past that shelf if you want those bigger fish.
All right, well, what else you got for me offshore then, Papa?
I got Captain JB Charters out of Apalachicola. Now, red snapper's getting ready to open up. The red snapper are mainly holding right now in that 49 to 60 foot range. He's fishing over high relief structures. The nicer ones have been biting on live alewives, and he's using light spinning tackle, 4,000 size reels, and 2-ounce lead, 2-ounce circle hook, or 2-aught circle hook, and anywhere from 18 to 24 inches of fluorocarbon leader. Now, further down south, Clearwater, St. Pete area, the red snapper are mostly going to be caught right now in that 150 to 180 feet. The bigger fish are going to be a little deeper. A lot of guys like to fish the pipelines and that the connectors in between the pipelines. Every now and then they'll have a big box joint where they can service them if they have to. And those bigger boxes on the pipeline are going to hold a lot of red snapper too. But I've got a photo here from Captain JB of some nice red snapper. He's catching fairly shallow in that 49 to 60 foot depth.
All right, let's go inshore then.
Inshore, mangrove snapper. Paul Bristow right now from the Skyway Fishing Pier reports the mangrove snapper continue to be good fighting through that while there was storms last week. Anglers were mostly trying to get through the weather and fishing on the bridges. Chunk, scaled sardines or threadfin herring are the top baits right now. Anglers using nickel circle hooks or nickel octopus hooks in the 1 to 2-aught size and 1 to 2-ounce egg sinkers to get them down to the bottom. Some anglers prefer a standing bottom rig. A lot of guys use a knocker rig. Both methods are very effective. And also you can hook up a 1/8 ounce to a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce head, jig head, and put that chunk right on there too. That also works good. If they're not biting real well on the cut bait, you might want to switch over to a live or a frozen shrimp tail hook on that same rig. That works very good. The snapper on the Skyway Pier can be from one end to the other. They've got a lot of structure there. There's the old bridge got blown up, so there's all the artificial wrecks, all the artificial reefs along the edges of it from the old destroyed bridge, and those are all along the pilings and along the whole bridge section there. So underneath the bridge, tight to the pilings, and also out on that artificial, they're about 40 yards right off the pier, so you can about drift a bait to them, drop it down, or fish right under the bridge is where they're going to be. There's a lot of bait there right now.
We got any flats fish in your report this week, Bub?
We do. Inshore, Captain Mario Costello, Tall Tales Charters out of Plantation Crystal River reports a good redfish bite right now outside Homosassa of the Crystal River. He's fishing midway on the incoming tide. He's fishing those outside keys. He's specifically right now looking for large schools of mullet. That's how he's locating the redfish. He's using a free line pinfish on a 3/0 circle hook, and the fish are running anywhere from 25 to 30 inches with a handful of big bulls mixed in. And I got a photo here of Patrick Rabbit, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, with a typical slot-sized redfish by Captain Mario.
Hey, no problem, Hag. I appreciate your work this week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Northwest region. Inshore snook are in transition, moving from the wintertime to the summertime haunts. Use sardines or pinfish free-lined under a cork. And then offshore, mangrove snappers on high relief structure in the lower half of the region in 25 to 60 feet of water.
Okay, well, Rick, you were super mean because you were showing Tommy all the food we have here on set from the Northeast region. Tommy, so nice.
Man, can you like overnight some of that to me? It looks so good.
It's
I haven't
delicious.
tried it.
I want to tell you though, the sausage, it kind of caught me off guard. A little hot. Had to have some water to bring in the fire extinguisher.
A little spicy?
Yeah, man, spicy, you know. But speaking of spicy, what kind of spicy fishing you got going on in the Northeast region?
We got some good stuff. You know, we've had an incredible year of dolphin fishing thus far, and we've still got it going on here in the region. You know, the best time of year to catch dolphin here is going to be late April through May, and this spring didn't disappoint. A lot of the charter captains, they were limited out on every trip, and they were catching some really big dolphin at that. I spoke to Captain Jason Hadges from jhookfishingcharters.com, and he tells me he's still catching some really good fish this week. Jason tells me he started in a little closer than he did earlier in the month, somewhere around the 21 fathom area, and then he's heading out towards the ledge. He's really going to key in on current edges, rips, and any kind of floating debris. But Jason did say that some of the bigger mahi that are being caught right now, they're coming from more open water because the fish are scattering a little bit as the water temperature is warming up. You're going to want to pull naked or skirting ballyhoo at about 6 to 8 knots, and you're always going to want to have a couple pitch rods ready. Now, there's also been some really nice dolphin caught in pretty close the past couple of weeks, and I've had a few reports of dolphin over 20 pounds being caught by guys trolling for kingfish inside of 20 miles, and even a few big ones caught near 9 Mile Reef out of St. Augustine. So, you know, if you aren't up for going way offshore, and if you got a little smaller boat and you want to catch a dolphin, this may be a good time to go out there and check some of your nearshore numbers. I got a picture here. This is a huge dolphin that my buddies Chris Bush and Joe Capo caught out of St. Augustine. That's an awesome fish right there, fellas.
Man, I love seeing throughout the whole night, all these middle-aged bodybuilders. I love it. Keep sending them pictures. It makes me want to go to the gym.
I bet it does.
A little bit.
All right, so we've also got a wide open kingfish bite happening right now in the region. I spoke to Captain Scotty Shank from FullHouseFishingCharters.com, and he tells me they're stacked up right now around 9 Mile out of St. Augustine. Now, Captain Scotty, he's just slow trolling live cigar minnows or sardines or even pogies, and he said he's been getting most of his bites on the downrigger about 40 feet down, but once he hooks a fish, it's bringing up a few more up there to the surface to get on those flat lies. Now, Scotty's looking for the structure that's holding the bait. I also spoke to Captain Rob Bennett from coastalfish.net, and he's also been catching some kingfish this week. He's catching them in as close as 4 miles, and he's slow trolling the same baits and just trolling over small ledges and structures. The kingfish, they're a little bit on the small side, only running about 8 to 15 pounds, with a few bigger ones mixed in. And both captains said they expect some of the bigger fish to move into the beach real soon as things continue to warm up, especially with all the bait and the pogies that we've got around. I got another picture. This is Christian and Barry with a couple of their kings that they caught with Captain Rob Bennett trolling over a real nearshore wreck.
Nice job.
Now moving inshore, Got to talk about the poons, the tarpon. There have been quite a few tarpon showing up this week in the pogie pods along the beach from Jacksonville, North Jacksonville, all the way down to Flagler Pier. Water temperatures, they've been a little cool. We've had a lot of west wind, but the tarpon don't seem to mind too much. Your best bet's going to be to get out there early, just look for busting or rolling fish, cast net some pogies, and either free line or float them around those bait pods. I've seen some big fish the last couple of days out there in the 60 to 100 pound plus class. Now, also, the smaller canal tarpon have been fired up this week as well. The Palm Coast canals are holding quite a few fish in the 10 to 30 pound range. A large live shrimp or a mud minnow, either free line or floated, is going to work well for those canal tarpon. They can be a little finicky, so once again, the best bite's going to be early on that low light condition, right as the sun comes up or just before dark. Now, we've also got an awesome redfish tide this weekend. At sunup, the tide's going to be running out hard, making for a perfect top water plug scenario. Fish, oysters, and grass points with a trout pattern Rapala skitter walk, or if it's really calm like it's been the last couple of days, I've been doing really well with the Rapala skitter V. It's a little smaller profile. It doesn't seem to spook the fish so much when it's real calm. Now, we also have a really low mid-morning tide, which is going to have the redfish stacked up in the creek holes and pushed out along the ICW banks throughout the entire region. A mud minnow on a 1/4 ounce jig has been working well for those creek reds, and a finger mullet or even a cut piece of mullet is going to catch those ICW redfish on the negative low tide. Now, a great area this week has been the shell banks along the ICW from Pine Island south to Casacola Creek in St. Augustine. Look for the mullet schools in those areas and you're going to find some hungry redfish. I got one last photo. This is Alexia from Palm Coast with a perfect slot red she caught with me on that early morning outgoing tide this week.
All right, Tommy, thank you. Great report from the strike. Oh, I got to pick you up. I'm sorry, I got you over here on the dock.
We can't leave you back on the dock. Here we go.
I'm sorry, Tommy. It was like
Technology.
a ding-dong moment. The doorbell was ringing, but nobody was home.
Technology. It's okay.
Great report from the Northeast Strike Zone region. I'm going to go ahead and look at your hotspots if you don't mind.
All right.
Thank you, bud. Inshore, redfish in the creek holes throughout the entire region on the morning negative lows, and then offshore, kingfish, 9 Mile Reef, slow troll, live pogie, cigars, minnows, and sardines.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Yep.
The doorbell was ringing, but I promise I just wasn't home.
Yep, no, but we'll have to send him some paella through the mail. How about that?
That'll make him feel better.
Yes. Okay, we have one more region left to go on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, and that is the Southeast region. So kick back, relax, and stay tuned while Rick, our audience, and I take a quick breather, aka a quick bite of this seafood paella. We'll be right back.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy. Find new roads. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Suffix. The world's most hardcore fishing line. The IGFA. Conservation through education. Get your hands wet. Flagler Construction Equipment. Your exclusive Takeuchi dealer. And Okuma. Inspired fishing.
When you're moving a big offshore boat, it's all about thrust and trust. For thrust, nothing compares to the Yamaha purpose-built 5.3-liter V8 Power Pioneer. And for trust, Yamaha's new F350C model becomes the only outboard in its horsepower class to feature a 5-year limited warranty. Never settle for less than complete confidence and control in the open water. That's Yamaha V8 Power. Get the best and forget the rest.
Inside you, there's an outside you. A you that takes the road less traveled than the road less traveled, and finds the comforts of home extremely uncomfortable. This is for that you.
Remember the glory days of gasoline? It's just not made the same anymore.
Kick your gas into gear with StarTron. Pump up the performance in all of your engines. Cure the problems of ethanol with the power of enzymes. And maximize your mileage every time you drive. Kickstart your engines with StarTron.
Hi guys, today we're here to talk about the Chevy Silverado Special Edition.
Awesome.
What's your first impression?
It looks sick. This is one gorgeous truck.
Oh, did I say there was only one special edition? Because actually there's 5.
Nice. Strength and style.
Which one's your favorite?
Come home with me.
Introducing the Chevy Silverado Special Editions.
Today's power pole tip, it's about using my drift paddles when I'm fishing a deep water offshore pattern. Now you guys that are in Tampa Bay, I want to tell you this is really going to change the way you troll for groupers in and around the bay on a deep water pattern. It also will help you to manipulate the speed while you're fishing for kingfish. Now, when we're fishing on the reefs and the wrecks, down in the Gulf, so many times we blow past it because we're simply going too fast because of the wind. I've noticed that I can slow down almost 1 to 1.5 miles an hour by deploying my drift paddles on an 8-foot or a 10-foot blade. So keep this in mind. It's really going to help you in keeping that up and down, straight up and down presentation, whether you're fishing 20 feet of water, 40 or even 60. It's gonna allow you to be over where you wanna fish that much longer. The drift paddles are simply the way to go. Check it out, and that's today's power pole tip. You know, Bree, when you have tide against the wind, it's the perfect application. You put the drift paddle down, now you're not blowing up your anchor rope. I had it happen last week at the bridge, and guess what?
What?
We laid off of the anchor because the current kept us tight, even though the wind was blowing us up our rope. Awesome.
Power pole,
All
simply the
because
way to
of the
go.
paddle.
There you go. All right, the Casa Vieja Southeast region is a no-brainer when it comes to hooking up to a monster bull, but you better have your detective hat on. Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Bree. Well, it hasn't been so much of a no-brainer the last few days.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, tomorrow's another day. But throughout the course of the year, we definitely do catch more dolphin than we do of any other kind of fish. And we do catch them year-round, but late May through August, those are our most productive dolphin times. And catching dolphins the easy part, but finding them, that's the hard part. Once we find them, they're usually pretty easy to catch. Our greatest dolphin fishing tool is a good pair of binoculars equipped with a compass to search for any bird activity. We can spot those birds sometimes a mile or so away, and when it's really calm, we can even spot that floating debris and the weed lines. And aboard the Thomas Flyer, we like to troll a couple of small to medium dolphin lures at around 10 knots, even 8 to 10 knots, whatever, and we look for any signs of fish. Once we do locate a fish area or a spot fish, we like to throw live pilchards or cigar minnows at them, along with cut bonita or cut ballyhoo. And we use 20-pound spinning outfits, typically with 50-pound monofilament leader and about a 4.0 to 5.0 hook. Now, in the last few days, there's been a few dolphin around, but I would definitely not say they are running. But as we get further into June, the action should definitely pick up. Now, the fish that we have been finding have been in 600 to 900 feet of water under birds and scattered sargassum weed, or if you get lucky and find something floating, there's a good chance that's holding some fish as well. And the fishing's definitely been better when we have a good east wind, because that east wind's pushing those fish hopefully in closer to the edge of the Gulf Stream. Now, I got a photo here. Got a 25-pound bull dolphin caught by Jeanette Gleaver, and that's the biggest dolphin that we've caught in the past 2 weeks. Caught that one under a frigate bird out in about 700 feet of water. Now, also offshore, there's been a good run of sailfish in the last week. There's been a lot of north current, and that means that the sailfish have been biting because we've had some blue water pushed in, but we've also had bites in that green water as well. And as long as that current keeps moving, the fishing should remain good. Now, most of these sails are being caught in 100 to 150 feet of water. We've been using live herrings and pilchards, but if you get some goggle eyes, those will work great as well. Fish them under a kite or on the flat lines. And a lot of these sails have been traveling in small packs or schools, so there's been a lot of double and even triple hookups. Also, definitely keep an eye out for any free jumping sails. You can get your baits lined up with those things on the south side of where you see them jump. There's a good chance of a multiple hookup. And down in the Miami area, the best bite has been from Miami Beach south to Fowey Rocks.
All right, Jimbo, before you go inshore, we're going to take a look at the navionics from your region, and you're talking about the Miami area. Great place to do yellowtailing this time of year. As you can tell by the Navionics chart, you can see all the little contours. Now remember, guys, when you're looking at this on your plotter, the tighter the lines, the more the drop off. That's how you got to understand this. All right, Jimbo, what do we have inshore this week?
All right, well, inshore, we've got some big tarpon. They've been hanging around all of the inlets, also around the beaches adjacent to the inlets, and they're also being caught late in the afternoon. Well, they're biting best late in the afternoons and in the evenings. A live crab's been the bait of choice, but a big live shrimp or a live mullet will work if there's no crabs available. There's also been tarpon inside of Cape Florida and Key Biscayne, and also around any of those deeper holes of Biscayne Bay. These fish in the bay have been biting throughout the day on live crabs and mullet. And then there's been quite a few schools of mullet scattered out in the ICW from Venetian Causeway in Miami north to Lake Worth Inlet. And those tarpon are feeding on these mullet, especially first thing in the morning. Now, if you don't have any live mullet, try throwing mullet pattern swim baits or any jigs, anything that's going to resemble those mullet. A lot of these tarpon, both in the inlets and the bays, have been in the 100-pound plus range. Then we've also got some sea trout being caught in the south end of the Lake Worth Lagoon and in North Biscayne Bay. Sea trout are being caught around schools of muddy and mullet on the grass flats in 3 to 8 feet of water. Look for any bird activity to locate those bait fish, and fish with live pilchers or pinfish under a Cajun thunder float, or work Rapala shad wraps or gulp shrimp on a 1/4-ounce jig head. Now, most of these trout have been in the 15 to 20-inch range with larger ones mixed in. There's also been some mangrove snappers, jacks, and ladyfish mixed in with those sea trout.
All right, thank you so much, Jimbo, from the Casa Vieja Southeast region. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots. Captain Jimbo says inshore, sea trout, jacks, and mangrove snappers for a mixed bag using small live baits, or any of the grass flats are holding these guys. And then offshore, sailfish, kingfish, blackfin tunas, fishing live baits along the edges of the Gulf Stream late in the afternoon, right where I showed you on the Navionics.
Boom, Rick.
Boom.
And just like that, we've gone through the entire state, and everyone can go catch some numbers this weekend. Hey, Rick, you know anything about catching some numbers this weekend? In age, I mean. Come on. Come on, stick with me. All right.
Happy birthday.
55 double nickels.
Oh.
Oh no, did I say it? We'll be right back on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. 55 years young and beautiful.
Hello, welcome. So Chevy is the most awarded car company 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Really?
Let's see how quickly you can read through all their awards.
Oh gosh, a lot of pressure.
You ready? Go.
2017 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Kelly Blue Book 2016 Best Resale Value. 2016 JD Power Highest Quality Ranking. 10 Best blah blah blah.
2017 IIHS Top Safety.
Only about 90 more to go.
2015 2017 North American Car of the Year.
That's a lot of awards.
Who would have thought?
Great, now I'm gonna have to go buy a new car.
The ultimate predator has evolved again. Now, Yamaha VMAX SHO Performance is prowling the waters in 4 hungry, exciting new models. With their 4 valves per cylinder and double overhead cam fuel-injected design, these advanced 4-stroke predators are taking performance to a whole new level. Vicious, lean, efficient. VMAX SHO. The pack is growing.
When you're paid to put fish in the boat, you don't mess around with the thing that puts fish in the boat. Always use the best line.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with our captains, contests, and appearances. You never have to miss a show. You can find full episodes, special segments, and updated fishing reports from your region right on our homepage. Just head to ChevyFloridaInsiderFishingReport.com for everything you need to know to stay hooked up. All right, next week we are talking mangrove schnappers.
Schnappers.
So make sure you tune in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for that. And something else coming up, which is our favorite annual kids show on June 21st. We always have a great time here in the studio, and the kids get an educational and fun experience, casting, knot tying, along with games, prizes, and more. So if you would like to be part of that, show or a live studio audience, head on over to ChevyFloridaInsiderFishingReport.com and sign up. But this is just wafting in my
Speaking of
nose
snapper,
right
look
here.
at this fried whole yellowtail.
He's taking selfies.
Getting pictures of that, baby.
So Lou, what is this?
pictures
This
of
is
food.
what is this? Tin Kai? Whatever it say?
This is
Thai
Thai
snapper.
fried.
Thai fried.
Right.
See, I knew it was
That's
something.
Cuban
Yellowfin,
style.
I like that. I call it Cuban style.
With
Listen.
a sweet chili sauce on it.
I don't want to be shy anymore,
Well,
but
go
we
ahead
gotta
and just
get
help
into
yourself. I mean, it was
Forks,
all made on a
forks.
fire disc, buddy.
Oh yeah, that thing looks
I know our audience is to sit here and watch us eat this. We're gonna share, we promise.
Oh no, we're not.
Make sure
Oh
you
my
guys
goodness.
come on
Thank you
out.
guys so much
Watch
for
us
watching.
next week.
Don't forget to check it out.
That's
We
all.
eat. Bye.